busiafo enuanom ne adofo yemaye nyina ye ho akwaba ewo dwumadi a yato ne din nsatraye a edimu potokasa na beka se wholesome revolution na ene dwumadi no eda sonko kra yenti eda sonko ne eye se yebeka akankasa na yasade potokasa edi aka ho eno nti obia benya chefa ewo ene dwumadi no mu bi tikama to yem na dwumadie yakasa obaso a eya na ensem pankoten na obete ensem a ede fahudie a esi ase ede kwa ho san ede asumdwie ede odo kenya odo we yemu wo kwan sonko so kra jese dwumadie bia yakasa ne kama sande be kanti kama to yemu apie baby papa na yinyina yemfa odo embo odo mu enije mu asumdwie mbo asumdwie mu na yinsia ade mu na de dapono eso enne dai eye family tree potokasa na beka na ye de ba ye kasa ni mu a emse beka se ebusua dua se ye pese ye ka no se de sitie pepepe de a ye ebusua dua na ya bi se ye mu bi nim bibia ye frɛ ni nyame dua na se ye se ye beka ebusua edua eho asem enuti be ma wakwaba ye sama ye nyina ye ho awa tu bio me di manu besi na sofo eden yen ato aso.
Good. Thank you very much, Sandy, for the introduction. We thank God for all of our lives. And another good news is that it's a year ago this month when we started this program. So if he was a person, it would be his or her birth month. We started on the 15th of February, and so practically it's like a year ago. And we want to thank God for that milestone, and also thank God for you that has been with us all these months up until today. Certain individuals have been instrumental as far as this program is concerned. I remember when we started it behind the scenes, where Pastor Barbara that I want to, give make mention of, and also Uncle Prince used to shoot it in his house. They've all been so instrumental, and our own daughter's senior woman Golda, who I guess started, she's been behind the camera and Georgia until she went to school and all that. So and guess what? If not for those of you that watch and participate and give us feedback, probably. You've made it. You've helped made it what it is, and so I want to say a very big thank you to all of you viewers, and listeners over the months and the year today. So we are so excited about it, and we keep going, keep sharing, keep coming to your bedroom, your boardroom, wherever you find yourself. You know what, we are with you, and I guess you're also with us. You know something? As far as this particular topic is concerned, we really want to ask you to fire us with questions so that all of us will be able to delve deep in this, because we'll be going in areas that will call for that. So please, if you have any question, I guess you understand me when you go further. You understand why there is a need probably to ask questions. So feel free, please, during the live broadcast or afterwards when you watch it, send us questions, and then all of us will look into it together. So family tree is what is on board today, and like Sandy said, it's going to be both in Twi, Ghana language, and also in English. That is what you're going to be doing going forward, so that everybody will be able to enjoy what it is that is being cooked in the kitchen of Prince and Sandra, or that's in the kitchen of heaven. The heaven is in our heart. Okay, so it's being cooked here in the heavens of our heart. Yes. Okay, so it's very, very important. So you can share it with friends that don't understand the Ghanaian language, and probably some of us, even Ghanaians, don't probably understand some of the deep tree ones. So the English, I guess, be able to enjoy it together. So please, let's take note of that as we go on. Family tree is what is on board. And family tree, when we make mention of family tree, we're talking about descendants. We're talking about bloodline. We're talking about stock. We're talking about, succession, and all that. I guess every one of us has a family. And so your mother, your mother's mother, your mother's mother, the connection, the link, that long thing, the close relatives and distant ones and all that. But you know something? I mean, we were talking about the other day that when you look at it practically, you trace us back to a source.
That's right.
You trace humanity back to one source, and to me, that is very, very important. When you do the tracing, probably we get married. So now I think we marry our sisters and brothers and all that. Yeah, because nobody can trace 1,000 years. But well, thank God for technology. Sometimes some of us can trace your grandparents, and it takes you back to some of you white people are doing. But your grand came from Africa, or some of you Africans, your grand came from come from maybe Saudi Arabia or something like that. And the beauty of all this, that's sometimes some of us feel we should wake up to, is that we are one human being. We are all one. It's very important. So, yes, of course, we're going to be talking about peculiarities about of families and all the rest of it. But when we really think about it, we are all one, and that to me should say something to us, to you, and also to me, as we, of course, engage in this conversation of family tree, the myth, the message, and the truth about this whole family tree thing. Yes, ma'am.
Do the sofu akano say unim say ya kasi ya hwe abusuano eduano mpo a ebusua duano efri ehini bi na mani muso ene ti yina so ye dwen ho na ye de ani kwa akira ye fri ehini baako na ye nyina ya ba bepu bia ya bepu yi ti ya kase kanwakoma to ye nyina ye busua ko baako pe ye baako na am say ye wo eti free nipa baako ho yeti free obo ade onyankopon tweduampon kukuruko no nyina yeti efree no nyina yasi free no nti yasi yeti ye bonku ye nifa ye hu nyina chese ye ne dia prekope eni nti ye no krese ye kasi ye ko abusua ni mu a na chese obi bese ye ko awo nto ato aso ye ko enam nyina na ne hu se efree etibi ena esane ebe mo na se efree hini bi ena efro ebasro eni nti nyina mu no ye kase yeti eni ye hini eni ye hu nyina no efree baabi ena baaye nti ebo ne ye de be free ye de nkomo no e be free.
Isn't it interesting saying that, because sometimes people probably migrate to another country, for example America. History tells us that most of them migrate from Europe, to go and settle there and all that. So they'll say their lineage is probably Scotland or England or Poland and things like that. So it's very important, if you're talking about a family tree, which to me is very important, we kind of look at. We really need to go to the genesis of our being. And the genesis of our being, is not Adam. Adam wasn't the genesis of humanity, or of our being as human beings. We came from God. When you read the book of Acts chapter number 17, the Bible says, from one man, we all were created from one man. We all came from one man, black, white, pink, yellow, you name it, from one man. And that one man, I know, look, depending upon a person's persuasion and their understanding and, their belief and all the rest of it, people have attributed that one man to so many things. But when I look at that scripture in Acts 17, and I look at John chapter number 1, where the Bible says, nothing was created, but everything that has been created were all created by him, Son Jesus. And you go to Colossians, and it says pretty much this, Colossians 1:16, and it says pretty much the same thing. It tells me that one man in Acts is talking about himself, God, who became a son, or who became a human being. So we all came from him. You see, so when we understand from this angle, and then, so then when you go down the route, and you realize that, I know we say things like, there are some families, every family has a peculiarity or peculiarities. And sometimes some of them want us to start from the family like tree, as it began with your grandmother, your grandmother, mother, whatever, all started from a place. And it's beautiful that you can trace our source. And so listen, that is why this conversation to me is very, very sweet. It's going to be sweet and juicy. and we starting from this angle, so that when you understand where it is that you come from, you won't bench your beginning from your grandmother. And so if there is anything that has been running through the family that you don't like, you say to yourself, this is not the family tree. This is not the nature and the texture of the family. Are you with me? So you'll be able to be free to really enjoy the essence of your being, because it doesn't matter. You can trace your genealogy back to 1,000 years, 2,000 years, but there's something beyond that. One making sense. There's something beyond 2,000 years of your lineage. There's something far, far, far beyond. So it didn't begin in Poland, or didn't begin in that Africa or whatever. It began in the Creator. Yeah, that's to me, that's the family tree. Of course, like I said, you know, we have family, we have this and that, and things like that. But you know, when you understand that, and so you fast forward it, and there's something going on that is so fun. It tells you, you know, where it's coming from. If it's not the best, you know, this wasn't the original mandate, or the original, like the blueprint, as they call it. You understand? So that's why, yeah. So let's take note of that. Yes, ma'am.
And the Crabby Bree and Comono Eddie Bree. Now, we shall down Napo or can't or share. A free or nipper back pim, and na nippenina a free buy. Now, be back as the nipper back Yana Adam, and so Comono and Tessa. Nipper back na ye free no buy and a young Casa. Don't a troll ni woman or see, share, impetia siano, na some new who, na some new young coupon they were home. Na asem no eyo Nyankopon enu nti se yen nyina ye free obi mu na afri afia na che se yo Nyankopon ene yen nyina ye free ni mu afri obi bi sa se nti wo kra no wase pa afri ni na nkomo ne se wase enye wo na kanso da bi wase eyo bo ade trade ampon Nyankopon no ena yen nyina ya se free enu nti se nkomo ne koso anase asem bi koso ne se ye de Nim say, ampa, we dear, a baby, I see free, if they are see, a ye, ya see a young quack, ya see a your dog, ya see a high, ya see a no opinion, and it is a who's on your mano, oh, but we want, Nim say, we dear, ya sepa, ye did free, ya sepa. Na, says, and come on, so call young come for the near Casa Dabby, we dear, and can't come on home. Not just say, I may nearby your hustle, na. Ya can't. I see to be a free buy in a panel, a one commo, and a begin. Because a one commono, a home commo, a no crown commo dear, a your don commo dear, a hind commo dear, a year just a no opinion and commodity, a was sunny and commodity, and it sana and commono, ye differ.
As we move on, you know, like, so if we began before beginning began, and we began not in maybe 2,000 years ago, or how far back we could trace your genealogy and all that, but we began from eternity. And then, of course, you know, this is important to key in that, or to note that. Now, let's fast forward it. But I guess, you know, when you talk about family tree, normally people don't go as far back as that. We go, you know, to a particular location. Could be Ghana, it could be Poland, it could be South America. I mean, one of the countries in South America, it could be whatever. And so then, when people then begin to trace, they do that. Then when there are issues in this, and this our family, these issues prevail. And so now some of them are good, some of them are bad. But then if you can trace your genealogy or your bloodline to what we've talked about, I'm not going to go into it again. That, to me, would be able to inform you of what you allow to work in the family and things you don't allow. Now, because you see, we've kind of bought into family tree as we've known it to be our ancestors, and of course, you know, physicality is whatever as I've said. That's where people say things like, well, there's something called hereditary. If there are blessings in the family or some well-doing in the family, you know, people there are going to do well. If there are not, you know, whatever in the family that are not good, and everybody's going to carry it. But there's an English expression that some people are born with silver spoon in their mouth. You know, and so they were born with it because it's in the bloodline. That's what they say. You know, every is in a bloodline, and these people something else. You know, like they say something of you know, along those lines. You see, you see, so I'm chatting here. You know, I know you take that now. Yes, sir. So the question is, listen, guys, you say we all came from a source. But when you look at it, they say, in reality, quote, yeah, people are like were born with silver spoon, and others really were born in the dungeon. Were born in, you know, how do you explain that? How do you explain some of these dichotomy? And that is what we, of course, you know, be engaging as we travel along with you, and also, of course, with ourselves. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. The practice of the Okano. It's a yana and prepino. You better say, yeah, dear, see a free baby. Means that what can't seem to crash him and I won't move wishing a musty coupon baby and no mobile, want your mobile, you know. Aha, not to say, yeah, cat, a back of the ma. Near the quack of free on baby, I and none can swear be a true not
for peace.
Ha, a true not see free baby, the core baby, and they buy a Betsy and free hand or call hand any free or not to say, I can't say, a back of them no, I yes, sir. You were back of some nitty. Ah, yeah, and I can't swear be an answer this, and then the episode I can say, they say no, and come on, said the AC canon. You be the upper chili. I say, a back of them said you see fitty as a my say, you make us all yet.
And no comes to a back of some, you know, but then it has to be, what you're saying is a back of them, but it has to be told well.
Okay.
Because what you're saying is if you came from history is record that what has been recorded has happened, event that has taken place. That's history about ourselves. And so if I say Papa Papa Musa free infantia about ourselves, then because Papa Musa is free, Yamu the buyer.
Yeah, not what's him. In terms of Sada, you didn't come up and say, ye dear quetchy. About some year, in Yadia, a year pa, to say, be because ye say near tear, and I see if you have your back, since you say your born tongue, and I say, your bushy, and I say your bushy queue. Now your cassette and Comono et rasa, in terms of Hona, Comono, they are near Mediaco, they are see free pa, and into your sense of it. Now, Saka, we see to say, ya see if you Yakupon home and a buy.
It's very important. Some of the myth that people are bought into is that when you have certain kind of genes, biology genes and cell group and all the rest of it, they can determine how the bloodline will fare, how they're going to live out, and how they're going to the sicknesses, whatever. But even the same study that concluded on that, another study or studies have been done to say, no, determinism, like you can determine a person's outcome because probably if you come from a home where parents were drunkards and this and that, is just going to follow the person through. You see the joy of these things are that today we live in a very dynamic world, and knowledge is on the increase. And when you see here knowledge, doesn't mean something that came from external, something that came from you. So the thing is, we wake up to that which has always been around. Okay, so you get up in the morning, at a hotel room or whatever, and maybe by the time you got there, you guys were tired, and so you couldn't see much. And then you get up in the morning, and all these, many wonderful things are in the room. Nobody brought it there, but when you went there, the things were there in the room, just that maybe you were tired, and so you didn't see what it is that you had paid for. I believe that, there's nothing new under the sun. We get woken to that which has always been in existence. New science, new biology, new this, new that. These are things that have been in existence for, before records were they started keeping records. You understand? So, so then it is not that fixed that if something is not characterized in a home or in a family, the members have to suffer it because it's really your genesis and my genesis. My bloodline wasn't my grandparents coming from central region, from Ghana, to Ashanti region or wherever they came from. But my bloodline, your true bloodline, is from source. And so anytime listen, pride yourself in stuff that are beautiful and that are awesome, because that's what the source is. But if things are contrary to that, don't sit back and say, well, this is the sickness in the family, or this is the misfortune in the family, so everybody suffers that. Listen, we will talk, yeah? I know some of you probably suffer a thing or two, but then we will, by the time we are done with this, not today, not just today, these teachings, It is not like it's meant to be. It doesn't matter how many people have suffered this quote misfortune or whatever thing it is. Listen, it is not normal. It can be changed. It can be changed. Not to be sometimes it's not even through medication, but medication of renewal of mind. No, please, not the religious one here. but renewal of mind and understanding how the dynamics of how the mind works is very important. When I understand the dynamics of how the mind and the brain works, some of these things that some of us feel is family thing, family ailments, and all that, you realize, no, this can be changed, and all that. Yeah, it's anyway. I will leave it that way. So please, let's make note of that. As far as we have this, anyway, I love it. So the conversation is gonna be is sweet. I mean, it started so sweet already. I know it's gonna get even juicier and juicier and juicier, and someone said gooder and gooder and gooder.
I did. Never cause so I did. Na the young woman say, Yana, you have a 2 and 7 na it be said you would kind no say, you will see swap and check now I tintin. No, we can say, Bushia way dear. Moody, I want to see you soon. Na yet the Bushia dear, Nanso, you see a cassette. It's here no. Ya we nyina atu esie so efse ye nyina no ye hini anase ya se no efri Onyankopon ono no oye obi a ode yen esi the friend is saying be poso nti ye nyina no ya wo yen esie so na ye ka se ya na nyema bi e beto ye na ya na emfra ne so no enche se sa na wo se sa na wo se kwa dabi nkomo ne se enam se eno enka nkomo ne ho nti no etimi sesa na besi dan na asesa adwene mu yehu se de nkweni sitie no ne ka se bibi fufuo bia eni wiase de wo dada na no na yani abue ama de wo dada no hwese de yesi eti efie ye kasa emfa ho bebi a wo ewu wiase afa na nyina uti yen uhu yen eba ne sen na yetimi enya asade enam emframa mu na sa emframa na enamu no da ena obi ehu ye ena oma yi nyina ehu ya enemene wo ye di so aba aye ndede ya ye ti ye fie ye kasa ye nyina ye ti ye hu ken omu de ye pese ye kan bibia wo hodada enu nti ye ni eba ye ho so anase ye sorry ema no kra e wo hodada no enu nti nyema bia ebeto ye na sese ye hu se ade ye nkan komo ne ho ye kan se betimi asesa na meti asembi efa mami bia o worry ye ko ni kunfie saying okwa kitchen so ya ade amede saucepan e example the saucepan o you see e saucepan e so na de bia o pese o chi your friend is saying fish apata na wetwem na ne kun say me nua obetimi achi apata yi wa bra wontwem o say me nana bebem free ba ne de bia yi twem and I say, obetimi. Enti adenti na wotwam. Ko yen ko bisa yi be free buy no say okay, me bisa me maami. Ne maami say me kura minimo. Enti me maami so na na yesa, enti e bisa wo nana. Ofe ne nana, ade na de bia wo fish a wotwam yi. O say, come na me che fish no, na me saucepan ni sha. Enu nti fish ni ntimi nchi ni nyina ho. Ntimi nchi ni moa. O say me twam a enko me saucepan ni mu. Nese komono asechele no enu nti apata no yetimi chi ni muwa nche se de bia apata obechi e so twam nti den na make am so ye ka se yehu asie se bebie free no bibi nti na ma bibi baaye na nche se ye ka ne se sa de wo se ya yetimi sesa no enu nti ni kuma ni hu se erabe mere fefe apata yetimi chi ni muwa enu nti ema hu se okay, and then can be over a radio can be Saudi Abayama. I you be a benama bushing anymore. Then so as a sign, the can I say, and Comono, your best son, like a son, and you be before be a tear that say, we now coupon and now we and precope. And we to Yakupo Munia, my penny, I am a no dear. If you say, me know if free when Yakupo and a buy. And it's the one Yakupo be around. Oh, many if you say, dear. Die wo ni hini mu no na emma die wo hu ni na ahaban ene die nam ni mu ni na no enya aduane nti yenso yɛhini paa yɛ Onyankopɔn ɛno nti Nyankopɔn no ma pa nyinaa no ɛnam yɛ mu ɛno nti ɛno ane because wɔakura mu na ɛba sɛ obi ka kyerɛ sɛ ne so ade no hunu no na esua ɛno nti ne fish no otwa mu na pata no otwa mu anaasɛ ɛma bibi fufuo bi bɛfra yɛbɛka sɛ daabi ɛno nka ho nka nkɔmmɔ no ho ɛno nti saa na yɛka.
Good. Thank you so very much. You see, when you were talking, you reminded me of something. Look, and somebody will say, well, maybe this is just a little illustration, but to surprise you to note that people have carried even illnesses and certain ill-informed mindset or conditions because of what somebody else said to them. So grandmother or grandmother said something, maybe he or she felt angry towards her marriage or whatever, and so, and then she felt and kept saying that marriage is not for me. I'm not lucky with marriage and things like that. And then the daughter had the same thing, so then, oh, it's mom's misfortune trying to befall me. And then boom, happens. Like I said, when you go forward, in the subsequent meetings, you realize that whatever thing that the person focuses on, it becomes real. And so, and many other things that you talk about as you go on. And so then, this whole family tree thing that some people think there's this bad omen or bad luck or sickness or whatever thing it is. You know what? The good news is that these things can be reversed. Or these things, yeah, that's the word. And again, they'll pack themselves somewhere so that you don't feel marginalized or you don't feel disadvantaged because something is going on in the family. Yes, there's something called diagnosis and prognosis. Yes, it's been diagnosed that this is what it is. But then when somebody says because of this is how things have to work, that we won't take because that is not what the records hold concerning you. That is not what the records hold concerning you. And if it's not what the records hold concerning you, when you go to the hospital and they bring your records and bring my record, they're gonna give medication based upon my record if I need it, not your record. So we make sure we visit the records that have been written concerning you, and anything else that kind of try to find its way in the record, find its way when prognosis is taking place, when they want to prescribe medication for you, we say no way, because that's on the record. So you can't be giving medication for sickness that you are not suffering. You understand? So it is very important. You're taking it at times. Look, as you are saying some of these things, some of you are listening to us or watching, saying, listen, Pastor, in my family, A, B, C, D, F, G, H goes on for the past 20 years, 50 years. We get that. It happens. It's out there. We're not going to sit here. It happens. So, but the most important thing is, how do I live a life that I so desire to live, and even end these things that have been going on in the family with me, and from me going down. You understand? You get it? So something has been going on that is not right in the family. And because some of us have learned or have been told that every family has got their own issues and blessings and curses. Some people even believe family curses and all the rest, and ancestral curses and all that. We talk about all these things, as we study. But the most important thing is that when you buy something or somebody buys something for you and they deliver it to your address, the company will not ask you to pay the second time. If somebody bought you something precious and it was delivered to you, we know what that means. It has been paid for, in full, paid for. And so the company that sells or sold that item will not ask you, the recipient, to pay again. So that's what we are saying. So if my joy and my peace and all that have been given to me by my Father, and I need to enjoy this, and then I get to a place where somebody's misinterpretation or misinformation or disinformation say, birth or try to bring some of these things my way, I can confidently say, no, this thing wasn't part of the deal. And Jesus told them in the beginning, it was not so. And all that. So it's gonna be sweet. It's already sweet. And it's going to be much more. I love this. It's one of the topics that I love to talk about. We talk about so much. A month. We take it up until March. Saturday mornings when you come away, both in TWI and also in English. Please, if there are any questions that you want to ask, as you watch it now or later on, please, whatever area or areas you want to, ask the questions on, please feel free. And again, please also share the content of some of these materials with people so that they equally can also enjoy it. It's in both TWI and also in English. So your friends who don't understand this language will be able to also understand what it is that you're talking about when you talk about family tree or hereditary tree or ancestors or clan and stuff like that.
If we say we need to go Abuamaye, a noma pancotin, a noma a tumpon, a noma a day a sunny, for who dear I see us here. Yami pay a farm with you, and Nunti, and he said, and fortunately, and I send for soon be a Nunti, the can say, Sankomui, I have found who didn't come more. A year ni Jim come, a yasun be come, your don't come more. A year, Yan San come on, Tia Sian come more. And whom come watch say, and the baby of it in your dream home a day out with it here. Sanko Nana, ye beco swat to train. Ye cost swat to train so swallowing me. A better you move precope if they were you mudada. And if you're big Kenya, ye way mudada now work with Namino, ya diswaba, I was our kind. So here the Indian was again. Now we are Duma. Now what you send it, you best any more share. Yeah, the Indian was it.
Namisha, I would hear. Enjoy.